back to our IGF Matside studio here at the Nippon Budokan, the close of Day 6 of the World Championships. Sitting alongside Loretta Cusack-Doyle, Neil Adams and Dennis van der Geest. We're going to take a look, a bit of a wrap-up of today's action, and I'll start with Loretta Cusack-Doyle.
Thank you, Sheldon. Right, we're looking at the women in the final, Hamada.
I'm going to ask you to go on Fonseca. You know why? Because you went on so many years about Fonseca. So we'll give the big guys. We'll give the big guys to talk about the women. We know you want Fonseca. Right. So okay. Right. So we'll save us all the trouble, the beating around the bush. Let's get straight to the point. Georges Fonseca.
The biggest smile in the world, isn't it? And it's even bigger now. This man, for the past couple of years, I have just loved watching him. He has been so exciting to watch. Judo, it just oozes out of him. And for me, he can throw that Oso Tagari, the Sianagi. He is versatile. And but he gives 100% all the time. And he's such an exciting player to watch. There was only one time, and that was just in July, that when he fought in Zagreb, I just thought, you're looking flat here. It's the first time I was disappointed because he lost out on a medal that he was fighting for, and I thought, you just made some really stupid mistakes, and it was your own doing for losing that medal. But here he comes back in this World Championships, the only time. I never mention him, and it is the only time. And he goes and wins the World Championships. I can't believe it.
Maybe you've jinxed him in the past.
Possibly. There's a possibility, definitely.
Don't mention him again then.
No, I won't. I'm not going to mention him at all. But he always had the biggest smile in the world circuit, and it's even bigger now. And I'm absolutely delighted for him. I really am.
Now, Loretta Cusack-Doyle has genuinely been a big fan of Georges Fonseca and spoken about him at length in the past. So came home today, he picked up the gold medal. I want to ask Dennis van der Geest something about his opponent in the final, Niaz Ilyasov of Russia. What do you think, Dennis, went wrong for Ilyasov? I mean, he's such a talented fighter, but just wasn't able to bring it to the party in the final.
Well, I think Fonseca is one of the best players in the 100 kilo category, but most of the time not so fit. So he's very strong with his techniques, but most of the time after a few minutes his stamina is not so big. So for him it was also really nice that Ilyasov had a unbelievable tough semi-final because they were fighting for 10 minutes. I think I'm really happy that Michael Corral won a bronze medal, but he was also very happy to see this, that Cho and Ilyasov were killing each other for 10 minutes. And that because if we saw the final, Ilyasov did not make one attack. Counter-attacked one time with the Oso Tagari that Fonseca made, and in the rest of the whole final he did not make one attack, could not make a strong right grip. So for Fonseca this was the chance to win, because a completely fit Ilyasov would have made another final. And that gets me to the thing is that always first repechage, afterwards semi-finals, means that the guy who loses in the semi-final has less time to recover, and he's the guy who brought it to the semi-final. So sometimes, it's for us now with Michael Corral, it was I was really happy about it, but if you really think of it, maybe it's not the most honest of our system.
Neil, your thoughts on the category at large, if you like?
I think that's a really good point, because it's always the most difficult medal to fight for. And I always say this to you, it's the bronze medal fight, and you see, because there's something that's not there, there's a spirit that's not there, that and you've got to go out there, and sometimes to get there, it's the most difficult medal to win. It is absolutely the most difficult medal to win. And, two of those fighters left their hearts in those semi-finals. They did, and you're absolutely right, Dennis. I think that Fonseca, this was his chance. We always believed that Fonseca, if he could put it all together on one day, was going to win something special. He could throw anybody in an individual match. But to put it all together on one day is a different thing, you know, and because that's how you win a championship, by putting it all together and winning 5 matches or 6 matches on the trot. He did it today, and he was fantastic. He never stopped coming forwards, and also he didn't look, you know, I mean, condition-wise, like you say, the Russian could have been a bit of a different ball game if he had been absolutely fresh, but he wasn't, and so it was Fonseca's day. Brilliant.
I want to go back to Dennis van der Geest and to ask him to comment on something that we were chatting about a couple of days ago. You know, where are the French? You know, they haven't made an appearance and everything, and then all of a sudden they're atop the medal table, or almost there.
I think they heard us. No, I was really happy that we had like a small conversation also about especially the men, that we set it somewhere, because it's amazing what they showed. Yes, good save. But yeah, well, and if you saw the difference today also in the final, I think the Japanese will go back to the drawing board, because if you saw them like 1 year ago, and you saw how their the difference in power in this final, unbelievable, shocked me. Yeah, she was so much stronger. Yeah, unbelievable, great champion, because she was all day. She was in absolutely top form. But I expected a little bit more in the final, but after maybe 10 or 20 seconds already was looking. The grip was so strong, and Hamada had absolutely no chance of breaking it.
How difficult, Loretta, is it to come back when you have already stood on the top spot a couple of times, as Myra Aguiar has done, and to have to fight your way back and to take a bronze medal as some kind of compensation? Is that how she would have looked at it, do you think?
She's been on the circuit quite a long time, and I think now when you see the quality of athletes that's coming through, to get a medal is an achievement on its own. So I think she'll be delighted by just being on, sort of having that opportunity to be on the podium. I don't think the bronze medal match was that much of a match for her. She was a young athlete coming through, and she sort of disposed of her really quite quickly. So it wasn't the big challenge for her. But I think on the podium, it's a box ticked for her, and it's a sort of a movement through towards the Olympic Games. And I think that's the way she will look at it here today, when she reflects back with the quality of athletes that's been up here today.
Loretta Cusack-Doyle mentioned young athletes coming through, and we couldn't end without mentioning Loriana Kuka then, you know. So, Neil, tell us a little bit about what you saw today of her.
Well, you know, the incredible thing is that Kuka, who's only a youngster coming through, showed great spirit and fighting spirit, but that's so typical, isn't it, of the Kosovans, you know, and the Kosovans have got now 3 bronze medals. In 3 of their ladies, 3 bronze medals, and I think a 7th place, we said, didn't we, as well, out of just 5 people, or 4 people, was it?
Well, 4 women and 5 with Akil Zhakova. He blew out, unfortunately for him, but 3 bronze and a 7th place, and you only sent 4 people.
Well, and you know, just the spirit. She had so much spirit there, and it's wonderful when you see that, because when you see the juniors stepping up to the plate and threatening the juniors, you know, and I mean, I had it for, you know, with me, and I was there at the top at one stage, and people were chasing me. You know, I remember me doing it when I was younger, and I was chasing, you know, the Olympic and world medalists, and you know, and then you see them break through. The Olympics is 12 months away. And we're going to, you know, this, I tell you what, the Japanese Federation must be very nervous up there, because this, and I've just been interviewed now, this is a truly international event. And, you know, Marius Visa said at the beginning of these championships, he said, we know that the Japanese are going to be strong, but we also know that the rest of the world are going to be chasing hard, and they'll give them a good fight. They've done more than that so far. And it's not set tomorrow, is it? You know, anything could happen, you know, with this medal tally tomorrow. So, I mean, it's been an amazing World Championships. And for me, it shows what an international sport we've got.
I'm going to come back to Dennis van der Geest on a particular point for the last word. And just before we move on there, Neil's making that point about the Olympic Games. Remember, in the Olympic Games, they will not be doubling up in 2 weight categories for the men and 2 weight categories for the women. So there'll be 4 less people. And I've found, watching judo over a number of years, that quite often at the World Championships there's a big sweep by the Japanese and a lot of weights, and they take a lot of medals, and we stand up and down, up and down, up and down, listening to, the Japanese national anthem. And then come the Olympics, when the big show takes place, they don't often, hit the heights. And this time round, they won't have the benefit of these extra people in the weight categories. But what I wanted to ask Dennis about was, again, I want to end on this Kosovo thing if I can, because I think it's a little bit special. Now, Dennis, you come from a country where normally they send a bigger group of fighters. It's never really a small team that gets there. But I wanted to ask you, what happens, because you always came at the end. You're always somebody who brought up the rear with the heavyweight category. What was it like when on the one hand nobody took a medal and it was down to you, or there were a hatful of medals and you were competing towards the end? What were the different outlooks for you?
Well, as a heavyweight, in my time we did a lot of team competitions, so that helps, because a lot of times it's 3-3. It was with 7 people in a team, and then you're the one who can, be the hero or not. So,
and you often were.
And that helps a little bit. But of course, the further on you get into the competition, if the team goes well, you can get some extra boost out of it. And but we also do an individual sport. It's also some egocentric sport. I know for sure there are also a lot of players who, if nobody wins a medal and you're the only one in your country that wins a medal, that gives you all the shine, and everybody will say no, it's not true, but deep in their heart there will be a lot. I mean, in '97 I won as the only Dutch guy. I won a bronze medal at the Worlds, and I was the hero then, and of course I felt pity for the rest, but for me, I really I had a great time. So, and you have to be honest about this one. And I think it's also hard, like if you're a 60 kilo, then it's the first day at the Worlds, you're the rest, all the heavyweights already walking around here for like some maybe 2 weeks or 1.5 weeks, just watching judo, just trying to, because all the training is already done. You just have to wait until you can get onto the mat. So we will see tomorrow. I want to say one particular judoka, maybe this would be the last time we saw him at the World Championships. That was Lee Partagliani. I think one of the nicest guys in the circuit and one of the best judokas in the past 10 years maybe. 3 silver medals at the Worlds, maybe also a few bronzes. And he lost today. And in the repechage, if you chasing and the older you get, the less moments you have. So maybe he's already in his head, he's thinking, this is maybe my last chance of winning a gold medal at the Worlds. Next year maybe Olympic gold, but World Championships. And you could see that he was suffering from it in the repechages. Great judoka. And I want to mention him. No medal for him today, but we had so much brilliant stuff coming on from him the last 10 years. And I hope that he will get a few more medals in the end of his career. Let's see.
That's a nice thing to say, Dennis. I'll make sure that he gets a little clip of this, because he has been a special player. And I know he was in the mix for that award that they had up there today. And he didn't get it in the end. However, I know that they were talking about it. Right, that brings us to the end of today's broadcast. We're going to be back again tomorrow. It's a later start tomorrow. We'll begin at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, Tokyo time. We look forward to your company then. But from Dennis van der Geest, Neil Adams, Loretta Kusat-Doyle and myself, it's bye-bye for now.